What is the one thing God has taught you during this time?
During shielding, there's been periods of feeling quite lonely. But the thing that's buoyed me back up again is God's promise when he said he'd never leave me nor forsake me. And I think that's lifted me up and carried me through.
I recently told people how my favourite verse is, "Be still and know that I am God." And during lockdown, God has taught me that there are times when I do just need to do exactly that. Often if something quite large happens that upsets me or distresses me, my first thought is to ring someone, another Christian, to tell them all that's going on, to ask them to pray with me about this situation. But there have been 2 situations during lockdown where I have felt God say no. Just leave this with me. Talk to me about it, but you don't need to tell anyone else. This is something I will sort out. You just need to be still and trust in me.
And I think that I've learnt to appreciate our uniqueness. Everybody has had a different lockdown story, everybody has experienced it differently, and everybody has learnt and grown and changed and refocused in different ways, in slightly different ways. And to me, it's just highlighted how unique and special everybody is. It's really quite a big thing that God has managed to work through this time, and I'm really thankful for it.
One of the main lessons that I've learned since the start of lockdown is the many things that I'm grateful for. I've been thankful for God's blessings to me, thankful for a time of rest, for more time with the family. I've been grateful for the life of the family member that died, and for all the kindness shown to me through others since then. I'm thankful for the home that I have, for the sound of birdsong, and for a moment where seemingly the planet could breathe. I'm thankful for all the support and that the NHS staff and the key workers gave to us all. And thankful for the WhatsApp group that we've had and the way that we've been able to communicate with one another. I've been thankful for the technology that has kept us connected during this very difficult time. This is just a short list of a very long list of things that I've been grateful for.
Pam says that during this time God has been teaching her patience.
As for the second question, what is the one thing God has taught you during this time? I think I am still waiting for that answer. I have been busy. Martin and I have been decorating and doing different jobs around the house. I've been doing accounts and other paperwork. I have spent many hours on the phone keeping connected to club members and friends. Times walking, sometimes with Martin, Beth or friends. At times my life has still been pretty full on. If anything, maybe God is trying to tell me to spend more time with him instead of just 5 minutes here and 5 minutes there. I think the most time I spend with him is when I'm walking, but that isn't always the same as those cut-off times with him. So maybe my answer is, he is still trying to get through to me.
I have learned through this lockdown to be patient. It's one of the hardest things, to be patient, but to be still and to listen for his word. Without hearing God's words, I don't think I would have been able to do thoughts of the day. So I feel that I have learned that God is with me always, there helping me, even though I don't always know it.
John writes, I have been reminded that God's power is such that he can do great things through people who don't even recognise him. I think particularly of the sacrifices made by so many people during the lockdown, especially but far from exclusively in the hospitals, care homes and public services. Where is the source of that compassion? To some Christians that might sound a bit liberal, but I don't think so. Isaiah in the Old Testament speaks of God working through Cyrus.
One thing that God has taught me during this time is to rely on him and not to try and do it all myself. He has taught me to rest in him and take time to be still and listen. I'm not one for sitting about. I like to keep busy, especially if I'm upset or worried. Basically, it stops me from thinking and helps me to work through things in my mind. And a positive is, I always end up with a clean house.
He's taught me so much. Mostly, he's taught me patience, trust, and that he's in charge. And no matter how bad things seem or how tough life is, not just for me, but for all people, that he's there. Not only does he know what we're doing, he knows how many hairs on our head, he knows what we're going to do before we ask it, he knows what we're going to do before we do it, he knows what we're going to ask before we ask it. And I must say, I have found a peace that I haven't had for a long time. I thought at first it was going to be a struggle to read and pray every day. The reading is coming quite well because I started at Genesis and done Exodus, and the next bit was Leviticus, and I must admit I thought, oh, this is going to be really hard because it's all laws and rules. But with the paraphrased explanation, a lot of it makes sense as to why God made all those rules and regulations for the Jews, and how thankful I am that we don't have to follow all those rules and regulations to the letter now because of Jesus, because I would fail miserably. So I think the lockdown has brought me back to God, and I'm very grateful. It's made me second guess now before I open my mouth. I'm far from perfect, but I'm actually thinking before I say anything, and I'm eager to have opportunities to talk to people about it. But obviously it's very difficult at the moment because we cannot interact with strangers. But God knows, and he will sort it out and provide the situations and everything else. So yeah, I'm very lucky. No such thing as luck. Very blessed that I have found him again, and that he's protected my family and kept them all healthy. So yeah, it's great. I'm really grateful for the lockdown, even though I know everybody else isn't. For me, it's been a blessing. Okay.